you make a decision, but with the agility to be able to change once you've made that decision. So it's okay to make a decision. It's okay to make a mistake. It's okay to revamp some of the things that you've done. But in order to have the information readily available to be able to make a snap decision and correct course, is the way that you have to be able to do that through analytics. This is something I like to talk about just because this brings me back to my days when I was a budget analyst, cost accounting manager, controller, all that kind of stuff. Budget plan. We talk about our budget plan. We started our budget in July. We started gathering data for our budget in July. We were on an annual basis, so our year end is December 31st. December 31st rolled around and we still didn't have our final budget done. By January, we had our final budget done. I loved January. I loved closing books in January because we just wrote our accruals up to the budget line. It was great. My variances were nil. I got into February, my variances were still pretty nil. Then in March, when I really had to make reports and come up with information and come up with variance calculations, my first response was, well, it was a bad budget because we did it back in August. So the data that we're using and the data that we're seeing, if we're only doing that annual budget and revamping, is old data. And it's always old data. Unless we have the wherewithal and we have the information at our fingertips to be able to make decisions. That's why you hear a lot of talk about rolling forecasts. I don't talk about that tonight. I talk about that a lot. Rolling forecasts. And forecast budgets aren't necessarily the only answer. Having forecasts, and it doesn't have to be at the granular level that you may budget at, but at another level, forecasts certainly can help drive your business and drive your business decisions. Staff leverage is weak. We spend, and if you were at one of the dinners last year, we talked about, David Axel talked about 80% of our time is spent collecting data. 80% of our time is spent collecting data, not making any viable decisions about what we're doing in the business. If you can see, that still rings true. Providing value-added analysis is 23% of our time. That means 77% of the time, we're just collecting data, putting in spreadsheets, making changes, doing adjustments, making sure stuff looks pretty, and then going through and making decisions. 85% of the companies that we talk to that aren't really using analytics to the fullest value, fullest extent, thank you, Jim, to the fullest extent, are at that 80% level. We talked to 15% that are using analytics and really getting into analytics, and what they do, 10% of their time is spent collecting data. Now, as David Axel said, there's a lot of IBMers out here that tell you you don't have to collect data anymore. Well, you still have to collect it. Somebody's got to go get it. So we say that 10% of your time. But then the next 30% of your time is maybe developing reports and getting it into usable format. So now you're only at about 40% of your time. The next 40% of your time is spent analyzing the data, turning the information over to the decision makers in the business. And what we like to say at IBM is putting information, better information, into the hands of the decision makers quicker so that they can make decisions about the business rather than crunching numbers and spreadsheets. And that's where you want to be. Then, of course, the next 10% of your time is usually spent talking about the source anyway. So there's a lot more room for developing the information and working that way. Monthly reports don't help us. And the monthly reports are that rear-looking, that rear-view mirror, and us finance people, we like to say that we always look in the rear-view mirror. Here's what we've done, but what does that do to tell you how you're going to grow or where your growth potential is going to come from? That information is not readily available. What products, what customers, what segments. You need to be able to get into the data and use some of the additional information to be able to drive those decisions. We at IBM have come up with this AQ, this analytic quotient. We have a test for it too. It's not quite as extensive as the IQ test, and it's not like one of those internet IQ tests that you answer 3 questions and the next thing you know you've got a virus. This is a legitimate test. But what we found is the companies that have taken it, and we've given it quite a few times, they rank somewhere in the middle. And it's really just a way to grade how you are, where your gap is between your current performance and where you want to be, or where you think you should be, or where some people think you already are. But it gives you that information to tell you where your processes are automated or not automated. It tells you where your inefficiencies are just inherent to your own business. It also gives you areas where you can look to increase your agility and increase that turnaround time, that information, and also to gain new insights. Business analytics in action. Now we're going to get into the demos, and we've had our challenges on it, but I'm gonna walk through one very quickly. I'm not a solution architect. We have a lot of solution architects that if you decide you want to go forward with something like this, and one of the ideas is like arranging for a demonstration on it,